Hello everyone, today I'm working on this nice GP35. Now, it looks to me like it's brand new and it's never been run. I'm going to take it out of the box, we can have a closer look. So that looks really good. The horns there, all the handrails are perfect. It's got rapido couplers, but that's what I use. And honestly, it looks like it's never been run. So because I'm going to paint this, I'm going to start by taking everything apart. So I use my box for the shell removal. You've seen this before. You just put the steps on one side of the box and you lift it. I find that to be the easiest thing. So as I paint it, I do not want to paint the windows, so I have to remove them. In order to remove the windows, I have to separate the two halves of the shell. So I have my little pins here, right at the bottom, and these should go easy. I always start from the back. This one was easy. Don't forget to remove the two handrails that are here. Very important before you pull everything apart. And so far so good. To separate the handrails, I'm gonna leave them black, so that's good. I don't have to paint them. So this one is going to be painted for Pennsylvania Railroad. I have decals. I could do CN, CP. I have Penn Central decals, but I don't have too many Pennsylvania Railroad GP35s. In fact, I only have one. So that's going to go well with my Penn Central stuff. Early Penn Central, they were merged with the New York Central. So it was easy for them to, it was possible for them to run together, Pennsylvania and New York Central, before they were painted Penn Central. So you could have a train with one Penn Central, one New York Central, and one Pennsylvania Railroad. So while I have the bottom of the steps in my hand, I'm going to remove the couplers. So that is actually great for me. I like the rapido couplers. So I'll just remove them gently, just like that, because I will be reusing them. Yeah, as far as I can tell, this engine's never been run before. In fact, it might be a little noisy because it's so new, which I don't like. I actually prefer to buy used engines. I'm going to remove the little horn here. It's black, that's perfect. I don't have to paint it. And then the cab just comes off like that. Once you have the cab in your hands, it's very easy to remove the number boards in the front window. Don't forget, there's another set of number boards and headlights in the back. That one's a little bit harder to get. So these you can just push the window out just very gently, because you do not want to scratch it. So just push it out, and then at the same time I'm applying pressure, downward pressure with my thumb. So once you push it out gently and apply pressure with your thumb at the same time, and eventually it'll come out. Here we go. Now don't forget about these number boards here. Those have to come out too. And these, they're held actually together there quite solidly. I'm going to do it off camera because I need to focus for this. So that takes a little bit of patience, but it can be done. Putting it back also takes a little bit of patience. So put everything in your box so you don't lose anything. So I've got everything all set up. I like to paint the cab separately from the body shell. So I'm going to put the steps together. You could paint it all as one, but it's hard to get paint inside here for the inside of the cap, so I prefer to paint them separately. Now before I paint this, I'm going to make sure to wash it with my toothbrush and some soap. I want it to be 100% clean. That will avoid dust getting in my paint. Although I'm going to put some dull coat on this, I still want this paint job to look excessively good. So I'm going to wash it right now. And also make sure that it's thoroughly dried before you start painting. Very important. This is the setup that I use for painting. It's very simple. It's 3 clothespins, half a pencil with some scotch tape, and that will hold my cab in its place while I paint it. It's this is old actually. It's served me well over the years, and I still like it. And I made this other tool to hold my body. That's just 2 old pins and some barn wire, some hay wire, and an old vise. And that too has served me well for years. So like that, I'm ready to start painting. Well, okay then, while my paint is drying, I'm gonna take a look at my drive system. Now that thing, it looks new to me, but I still want to have a look inside. So that's pretty easy. Start out with the 2 screws. Careful not to lose your retainers. Usually I would put them in my box there, which I think I might end up doing. It's a little bit bigger screwdriver, that's gonna help. So yeah, I'll put them in my box so I don't lose them. Okay, the light shield, the lights. It should run really good off the bat here. It's probably going to be noisy because it's just brand new, and these pop right out. Probably going to be noisy because it's brand new, so I don't want to lose my little screws either. So I'll pick them up as they come out, put them in my box, and I'll split this open. You just have to push on these little tabs here just to push them open. So probably this thing's been sitting on the shelf for, let's say, 25 years, or it's been bought and not used by somebody, so it might still need a little lubrication. Yeah, everything looks new in here. What a beauty. I'm just gonna add a drop of oil just to say I did something. Just a little drop here. And here. And the same thing on the other side. And that should be enough. So I'm gonna test this on my bench, and then I'll take a look at my trucks. So the trucks look brand new. I'm actually not doing anything to them. They sound really good. I can't see any hair or dust. So brand new engine. Now I'm gonna put everything back together. I start with the 2 frame halves. Just have to click them together. That sounds pretty good. And then the 2 trucks. And then after that I'll put my screws. Bring this in closer so I can see it. I'm using gravity as my friend. That way I don't have to hold the trucks. Gravity's gonna hold them for me. Well, there goes my contact strip. So that I will bring it back where it should go in a second. The gas tank holds them together. So I'm not putting my screws all the way in, I'm just starting them. There's a lot of parts to these. That's one reason you have to pay so much to get a brand new one of these. And they are made to very strict tolerances. All these parts have very strict tolerances. That's why if tomorrow you decide, well, I get an idea, I'll make lots of money, I'll start my own company making trains, it's gonna be tough. Because that's why I like N scale. Usually the level of detail goes beyond what you can see. So before I put my gas tank back on, I'm going to make sure that my contact strips are aligned perfectly. So once I'm happy with that, and I make sure that the little pickup strip from the trucks is touching the contact strip, once I'm happy with that, I'll bring the gas tank up. Now, remember the filler, the fuel filler goes to the front of the engine. The front being where the cab sits. So you can see the cab sits here. So the fuel filler goes towards that. So make sure everything's lined up properly. Now I can tighten my screws. And we'll finish with the lights. We're almost done. So I'm gonna go try it on the track just to be 100% sure that I'm happy with this. It's looking good, honestly. But it's best to check it once before you put your shell back on, just to be sure. It's actually okay. It's pretty much what I expect from a GP35 drive. That's the level of noise that they all make. Good stuff. So everything came back from the paint job. It came out great, actually. It's very shiny, but it looks really great. Now I'm getting ready to put on my decals. I'm going to be doing on this engine, I'm going to be doing the number boards. So here's what I do. I'll put just a little bit of clear paint over the number boards that will help the decals to adhere to the number boards. So any clear gloss will be fine. That's just allow the decals to adhere. So I'll do the same for the back one. You should, I should do a video just on this. Just on number boards. That would be actually a good idea for a video. So my decals, they have been used a little bit. But you can make more than one engine with this. This is what I use. It's a micro scale. Micro scale decals. It's the best stuff. They're very sharp. And I'm going to use the Pennsylvania Railroad I'm going to do a paint scheme just before they were merged with Pen Central. So I need the white and red, the white and red Pennsylvania logo. It's a keystone. I don't know if you guys are into architecture, but the keystone goes at the top of an arch. And I don't know if you remember, but I think the motto of Pennsylvania is the Keystone State. So there you go. It's very important to get a picture of the exact engine you want to model. I'm going to do number 2343. So I'm cutting my decals. I wish I had the 2343 together. Unfortunately, I could not find that, but I have the 23 here. And then I will do the 43 separately. You have to do 23 and then 4 and then 3. So that's going to be a little bit of work. So I'll finish this up off camera. Some of the decals are going to be extremely small, like this number 4 for my number boards. I would also like to ask you out there, this decal, I'm not too sure what it is. I'd be very thankful if somebody could tell me what it is. So I'm very curious. I see them on all the Pennsylvania engines, and I would really be curious to know what they mean. So I will start with my cab numbers. So you only need a drop of water for this. It's not, doesn't require a lot. And that'll be enough to get the decals going. So I will use my toothpick to pick up my decals and then to put them on my cab. So I'll continue doing this off camera. So when you're satisfied with the placement, you can blot out the extra water with a tissue. I will continue to add decals until I'm satisfied. So I'll be finishing all this off camera. Some of the decals will be extremely small, like this little F here. But with the decals completed, it really completely changes the engine. And you could leave it like that. That would be a freshly shopped engine. It looks great actually, but I'm gonna go one step further and do one little coat of dull coat. So my shell looks much better now that the dull coat is on. So it's very professional. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the windows back in. I have not forgotten about my number boards. That's going to take a little bit of time, so I'm going to do that off camera. So that was pretty tough, but I got it done. By doing them like that, they look black when the lights are off, but when the lights are on, you can see the light through them. So I'm pretty happy with that job. So before I put the shell back together, I'm going to do my couplers. I find it much easier to do with the shell apart like that. Much easier to get at. So that's the same thing for micro drains if you want. Just put them through one end of the shell and then put your little retainer back on, whether it would be a screw or this Atlas Cado retainer. Once you have the little pin through the couplers, then it's easy after that. And you use gravity as your friend, and it will just snap in right in there. There we go. And I'll do the other side off camera. So I put everything back together. It looks really good. All that's left to do is reassemble the unit. I'm very happy with this job. So that should go in nice and easy. And now it's time to run some trains. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I certainly had fun making it for you. See you soon.